my fun fact at parties is that I wrote my college essay on Gravity Falls. I know in my future, I want to do something similar. I want to be able to tell stories that people can relate to and people can love. All these characters have so much personality and so much like relatability. It's such a nice thing to feel, and I want to be able to like make characters like that come to life and for people to feel the same way about them.
Welcome to Fan Take, the series where we'll be breaking down different fandoms and their impact on the advertising industry. I'm Mackenzie, I'm the media department manager at the agency.
And I'm Ginny, I'm an operations manager at the agency, and if you didn't know by now, we're fangirls.
And don't freak out, but Mabel is in the building. Please welcome the biggest Gravity Falls fan, and actually the creator of our logo, Dina!
Yeah!
Hi guys, I'm Dina Colleti. I'm an art director at the agency. I'm a digital arts and sciences major with a focus in 3D animation, and I'm in way too many fandoms to count, but off the top of my head, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Studio Ghibli, Chainsaw Man, The Owl House, and Gravity Falls, of course.
So I watched Gravity Falls when it aired on Disney Channel, and I loved the show, don't get me wrong, but I had no idea that it had like a whole fandom and like people actually like paid so much attention to like the little nuances and all that. So I'm so excited to learn more. And yeah, I just want to know like what made you such a big fan of Gravity Falls?
Well, I remember in 2012, the first like teaser trailers coming out of like this weird recording and like a little creepy monster.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like so intrigued as like a 10-year-old. I was like, oh my gosh, like what is this? This is so cool. And when I first watched it, I was obsessed immediately. Just like a weird, cool fantasy monster creepy show.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like on Disney Channel. I would never have expected that. And in the first season, I just kind of watched it casually. And then as the years went on, I just became more and more intrigued, and I started getting involved with the actual fandom. And I found out that there was so much more like beyond like the surface with Gravity Falls, which was so cool.
Amazing. Yeah, I honestly, like, I know we kind of all prepare for these episodes, and I'm always like wanting to do a little bit of research, and I found so much stuff, and like you have provided so many resources. I'm like, I had no idea that any of this existed, and I'm jealous that I did not get a part of it when I was
I would have loved it, and I just didn't.
Like little detectives almost, like little kids doing like detective.
Yeah, you were talking
decoding.
about the like cipher thing.
Oh yeah, so it was really cool. I didn't realize this like at first, but every episode there was like small little clues that were hidden in. So like there would be license plates with certain numbers and certain names on them that would end up actually leading to like discoveries in like later seasons of the show. Which
That's
was
so
like
cool.
it's so cool. I'm gonna keep saying it's so cool. It just is
No,
so cool.
it is. We will be like so cool. I literally under my breath went, so cool.
Yeah. No, that is because like, I mean, not to like discredit it by any means, because I mean, it was a kids show. It was on Disney Channel, but that's like very well thought out, and it's like a fun little game. And so it's really cool to see like how thorough it was, like with these like different Easter eggs and that kind of thing. And it's just like a fun little thing for kids, and honestly non-kids, like adults too, I think would find it fun.
And that's what I think made like the fandom so popular and such like a beautiful like group of people, because it really was for anyone. And so many times like the creator himself even said like, this is not just for kids, like this is for more than just that. Like it can be for kids, why not? But also like there are so many like little hidden things for like everybody. So many jokes too that just like I know went over my head as a kid, and I recently rewatched it and I was like, oh my gosh, how did I not like realizing like what that meant?
Yeah.
So it's just it's for everybody, and it's just like a big passion project from the animators, which I just love.
So I'm also a really big fan of Easter eggs. This comes from my love of Taylor Swift. She's like always inserting little Easter eggs for like future projects and her previous things. And the best part of like being in that fandom and being a Swiftie in that community is everyone trying to like figure it out and figure out what it means. And then when you realize like what it led to, you like look back and you're like, oh my gosh, that all makes so much sense. So was there stuff like that going on with the Gravity Falls fandom?
Oh, definitely. Every time you turned off an episode, there was way more to like discover. Personally, I know like I would always like run to Instagram right away to see what like my mutuals were like talking about. It was just such a fun group because everyone was just posting like nonstop, like seeing like finding little clues and like little jokes from the show and posting it. And then I'd go on like Twitter and people would have already decoded like the secret message at the end of the episode in like 10 seconds.
Oh my
so
God.
it was just super cool to see that like in real time as well.
Yeah.
There's just always more to the show than just like what you saw on TV.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that's like such a big part. It's such a good thing for like different like TV shows and brands, is when people can like continue to talk about whatever it is that you're providing like after it's already aired or anything like that. So that's super big for Gravity Falls being like just like a show on Disney Channel. But like that's really cool that like it really just fostered this like creativity and like just like critical thinking even like among like young fans, and really like bonded them together. I think that's like so much fun.
It was a huge game changer, I think, for Disney Channel. It was one of the first like serialized shows, I want to say, on Disney Channel. Most of their cartoons had been episodic, like Phineas and Ferb. Like every episode was different. Like you could just watch it, like kind of be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But when you watch Gravity Falls, there was always like the underlying plot. So every episode was like leading into something else. You could still watch it, like going into it not knowing nothing. But the fun part for the fans was watching it in order and then everything lining up at the end.
So I know you talked about the creator and how this was a big passion project for him. How involved was he like with the fandoms? Was he like interacting with people on social media? Like what was he doing to kind of feed into this?
He was super involved. He always like loved, and he would always talk about just how much he enjoyed seeing like the fans and talking about it on Twitter. There was a point actually in the first season where people were able to already piece together a huge like spoiler that or a huge like plot twist that was happening in the second season. And the creator like saw this and he was like freaking out. So he went to his team, like behind closed doors, he went to his team. They created a fake leak of an episode where they basically framed like another character as like this like certain person. I'm trying not to spoil it.
Yeah.
Because I will go watch Gravity Falls.
Honestly,
Yeah. But they basically just tricked the entire fandom by posting this like faked leak on Reddit. He deleted it after 2 hours on like a random account, and the internet, like everyone was going crazy. Like we were like, oh my gosh, like we already know what's gonna happen like next season. And then as soon as what was actually supposed to happen in the second season happened, he posted a photo with him in the leak, and he was just like, "Here's you guys, haha."
God.
That's so funny.
That's so funny.
That's so good.
And another really cool thing he did at the end of the series, he created this like international scavenger hunt basically for the entire fandom, where he and a couple other people that worked on the show placed hints like throughout the world. They placed hints in Japan, there was one in Russia, a lot throughout the United States. I think it was like California, Oregon, Rhode Island.
Cool.
And all these different clues, there were puzzles, there were like just little words that everyone was putting together. Everyone on Twitter was like working together to like solve this puzzle.
Wow.
And the people that were, everyone that was able to solve it at the end, there was a big like Bill Cipher statue that they found like in the woods that he hid with like little Gravity Falls merchandise hidden with it.
That is so cool.
So he basically,
oh my gosh.
yeah, just in the woods. And it was just like this huge scavenger hunt that he did like on his own with just like a few other people helping him. Like that was just completely like not even a part of Disney Channel. That was just like for fun for the fans.
That is
That's
so,
so
cool.
funny.
Yeah.
I'm,
I mean,
like,
it makes
genuinely-
sense that it's in the woods though, because like the show
Yeah.
takes
yeah.
place in the woods.
That's hilarious. Like, just think, like, I can just, like, it really does sound like a passion project where it's like probably just like him, like Alex, like, and like maybe a few other people, like, just doing these small little things. And I'm just picturing like him and a few people just carrying the statue. Like,
Yeah.
How big was it?
It was like a life-size statue. Like
That's
there's
hilarious.
photos of people next to it and they're like bent down. It's like the same size as like the people. It was a little like treasure box that was buried next to it, which is so crazy. Yeah.
That's
And-
so cool.
And it was hidden in like Oregon where the show takes place, which is just like full circle, honestly.
Wow.
It's like
Yeah.
the most perfect thing they could have done for that
Yeah.
show.
Oh yeah. Great way to end it. It was
Yeah.
like perfect for the fans.
I think that's like really cool that they really brought these fans, like gave them a little dream come true. Like, 'cause I'm sure that's what they wanted
It's like
so
a thank
badly.
you to the fans. too.
Yeah.
It was a very big thank you. And it was just,
Yeah.
it's super cool. It's also is really interesting to see like the people working on the show, how involved they were. And people who worked on Gravity Falls went on to like create their own shows as well. Like another show that I love is The Owl House. One of the like storyboard artists from Gravity Falls created that show. And that's like one of the most like biggest like game changers for Disney like today.
Mm-hmm.
So it's super fun to see like not only the fans but the people that worked on the show, how passionate they were and just how much they appreciate the fans too. It's so cool.
So that scavenger hunt sounds so cool, and I honestly wish that I could have been a part of it. And honestly, I love myself a good campaign. Anything that like teases to like a new season or anything that really like engages the fan is so much fun. So is there anything else like in the Gravity Falls fandom that sticks out to you in terms of like campaigns or like engaging fans?
Oh, definitely. Honestly, the merchandise that came out of it was super cool. And again, you could just tell how much passion everyone that worked on it, how much passion they had for the show, just because of how amazing it was. Like one of the first ones that came out was the journal number 3, which is like in the show, it's just like this big mysterious book. And they have fully detailed pages of like everything you saw in the show and more.
Oh, it's
So it's
cool.
and there's hidden clues in there, little ciphers, like, and there's also little notes from like the characters in there as well that turned out super cool. A couple other things that I brought along, they had some books come out from the characters, which are super cool. Like hearing about like their little stories against stuff that was in the show and the stuff that was just outside of the show, just to add on to the universe.
Yeah.
They came out with graphic novels. Most recently, they came out with the 10-year anniversary vinyl, which is super cool because it has its own little hidden messages in the records. If you play some, if you play some of them backwards, they have little like clues and hints from the shows. Yeah,
Wow.
super cool. Yeah.
That is like so well thought out.
Oh yeah. And there's like hints throughout the show. Like there is an episode that focused on like, oh, if you play this tape backwards, it reveals this like secret hypnotic message in it. And so fans like found that same like similar thing in the vinyl as well.
That's really cool.
It all connects.
Yeah.
All connects.
This actually reminds me, do you remember, so in the Sunflower Volume 6 song, the beginning of the song is like, or whatever, and it's, if you reverse it, it says like sunflower, flower, flower, or something like that.
It's a hairstyle song.
It's a hairstyle song. And it just kind of like reminded me of that, like the whole reverse thing. And fans kind of figured that out too. But yeah, that's like so fun. That's
Same
amazing.
with the Love of My Life was reversed when we first,
Yeah.
and they tweeted the account that was like promoting this before we knew it was Harry's album, tweeted like a familiar song like played in reverse or whatever, and so everyone reversed it, and that ended up being a song on like the last song on the album that came out, which is really cool.
That is super cool. It's fun to like just see like the little like hidden things that creators will just put in like for the fans to kind of figure out. Because again, it's like you don't really need to be like a huge fan to enjoy it. But if you are a huge fan and you find these little things, it just like makes that difference, and it just makes you like fall in love with it even more.
Exactly. I love a good campaign that's like ambiguous, like leaves things like up for interpretation and like things for like fans to kind of figure out themselves. I think that's the way to go. And honestly, like, I mean, Gravity Falls came out so long ago, and so this has been a thing that's been happening forever, and I feel like it's now starting to also kind of blossom into like music and things like that. So yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for brands.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, so many shows now on Disney Channel too are trying to do similar things, and they are being very successful with it too, just because of how it worked out with Gravity Falls. They're like seeing it still works out even today.
So as a digital artist, how much has this show influenced like you wanting to go into your major or like your future career? Like how much has that influenced this?
It was honestly what made me want to pursue like animation and digital art in general as a career. My fun fact at parties is that I wrote my college essay on Gravity Falls.
Oh, cool.
Just because I like really love talking about just how it inspired me to like want to create. I don't think I really understood like how powerful like animation and just art in general can be, and how much influence it has like on people's life until I watched that show and I was a part of this community, and so many people like felt like their lives were changed, and it honestly did. Like it changed so many people, and it's just so beautiful because again, it's like it's a passion project. Like the creator was someone that just wanted to tell a story about weird things and like talk about like his sibling relationship, and it's just so beautiful, and it's so fun to like see come true. And I know in my future I want to do something similar. I want to be able to tell stories that people can relate to and people can love, And yeah, it's a big driving factor, I feel like, in my career.
Wow.
Are you interested in going into like animation like that, like doing like TV and film and stuff like that? Is that the kind of the area you're interested in post-grad?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. My major is digital arts and sciences,
Okay.
and I'm focusing in 3D animation now. And I've found so much love for just like making characters come to life, because that's such an important part of the medium. And again, like back to like Gravity Falls, it's like all these characters have so much personality and so much like relatability. I remember watching the show and just being like obsessed with everybody, because it's just like they're all so fun, and it's such a nice thing to feel. And I want to be able to like make characters like that come to life and for people to feel the same way about them.
That's really beautiful, Dina. I have to say. That's
Thanks,
really
guys.
cool. I like how you focus on like wanting to, because it's one thing to just make a character move, but to give them like life and like personality, I think that really shows like your passion for that art form, and obviously for this show, which is the whole reason why we wanted to have you on the show. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. That's really cool. And thank you so much for watching.
To keep up to date with the series and see who we bring on next, make sure to follow us on all of our social media at the agency at UF.
And remember, reality is an illusion, the universe is a hologram. Bye, gold, bye!
Bye.